Let's now select our particle flow source and start working these bubbles. Press 6 to open it, and on top view I want to select those middle parts here. So with the lasso tool, just press Q a few times. Let's select just the ones in the center, and let's make it display as geometry here, because the selected are displaying as sticks. And now let's create a split selected. So all the particles that are selected will be sent to this other event, show as geometry. And if we do it, you can see now. I will just here on configure, I will take this off. No, in fact, I deselected the particles. Let's select it again. And let's click here, so we don't deselect it. Now all the selected particles are in this event here. And in this event, I will create a test, so it will get the logo surface. This bubble base, now let's apply our logo here. Materials, standard. And you can take a black and white photo of your logo. In this case, I have this one, and let's apply to the bubbles base. Let's press Shift Q so we can see only this surface, and click here. Okay, it's fine, but we need to see our particles. So let's change this to ticks for a while, and our particles can be big enough to fit here, our logo. So here on the material, I'm gonna change its styling a little bit. Nope, like 0.8 maybe. Yeah, can offset it a bit here, and I think it's fine like this. Yeah, that's okay. You can even rotate your logo here, but I think it's okay this way. Great. And now we're using this material to test the particles. If the particles are in the black area, they will stay here, and if they are in the if the particles are in the white area, they're gonna stay here, and if the particles are in the black area, it's gonna drown or pop. So let's close it, and let's make the display as geometry, and let's create a data test. Now let's click in auto update, and let's get an output test and a geometry. This geometry will get the closest point by surface, and we have to specify which surface with a select object, and then get the bubbles base and connect it here. Now we have to get another geometry and specify that we want it a point color, so we can link this point to this point and this object to this object. Now we have to output this, but the output test accepts only Boolean when we have a vector. So we can use a function here and uncheck the use second operator, because we need only one. And this one, like this, we can have this length, and a length can be converted to Boolean and particle flow is smart enough to do it for you. I learned this on the Autodesk Area tutorials and the Autodesk MasterClass areas with Anselm Von Seherr, and it's a great tutorial. You should take a look there. And like this, it should work already. Let's see what's going on. When your particles disappear, you just kind of switch off and switch on your particle flow source, and it should work. Now let's create another display here, and let's change its color to very fancy one so we can see if it's working. And let's do it again. And yeah, it's working. So all our particles that are in the logo are sent to the next event. But in fact, we want these cool particles to stay here and the other ones to be sent. So, and here on the output test, let's make it false to satisfy. So if the particles aren't in this area, they will be sent to the next event. Let's make it a bit more organized here. And cool. That's what I want. In fact, let's make it like this. Okay. Now all those particles here, the blue ones, will be drawn or they will pop, so we can stay with only our logo. So here on event 3, let's create a split group. No, a split amount. So 50% of our particles will be sent to another event. And they will draw with a force, a gravity force. Let's create it here. And let's apply the force here. Let's see what's happening. I think it's going like too fast. Yeah. You should make this value like very, very, very low. Like 10 maybe. Yeah, the particles are drawn in 15 frames. Let's make it 5. Let's try to make it drawn in 1 second. Almost there. 3. Cool. Yeah, 3 is fine. But I don't want all the particles to draw like together. So let's bring this here, delete this connection, and let's create a edge test here. Let's connect this. So 50% of the particles of those blue particles are being sent to this event, and I want it to drown in like 50-50. So the particles will be sent to this event between frame 0 and frame 100. Cool. And it will take the last one here, the last particles will take like 30 frames to drown, so it will end around here. Yeah, cool. Here we have no particles drowning anymore. Great. And now those particles that left here, I want them to pop. So here on the split, we have all those particles are still here. So let's create a edge test with another 50-50. Now let's make it a bit more, so 75-75, so the last one will stop here. And let's create a delete event here and send those particles there. So let's connect in here again. Cool. But if you let's hide the mug, because all our particles are kind of going down forever. So let's create a deflector here, and on top view, usual deflector will be fine. Let's make it a bit smaller. And here on this last event, let's put a collision test, and let's add our deflector here. It's very important the collision to be below the force, otherwise it can work in a weird way. So let's see if it's in fact on front view. Let's bring this like here. I think here, no, let's turn it off a bit so it doesn't get too slow. Let's put it right below all our particles here. We have particles front. Yeah. Here it's fine. Yeah, you can see our particles there. So let's bring it here and activate this. Great. Cool. And now I think like this it's working fine already, but those bubbles would never stay like static like this. So let's add some movement to them. Let's create a vortex so the particles can kind of go around. If your logo have a small like some hole like this eye here, it's very cool to put the vortex on this hole center, or you can put in the center of the mug. So let's see what's going on here. Let's rename those events. This one is the logo, bubbles. This one is the bubbles to pop. This one is the bubbles to drown. Oops. And this one is the drowning bubbles. This is the delete event, and those are the outside bubbles. I want those outside bubbles to be deleted eventually as well, so it doesn't stay like this forever. So let's create another edge test here. It can be here. In fact, the H-test should be outside because we don't want all the particles to bubble, to pop. So let's apply another split amount here. And let's, I don't know, maybe 5%, just a few. Send them to this event. Let's see where they are here. Yeah, all those red ones will pop, so I think it's fine like this. Maybe a bit more, like 8, yeah. And now in 75, it will be sent to this delete event. Cool. Now let's apply a force modifier here with the vortex, and let's see what happens. So the particles are kind of going out to the center. That's because of the radial pull. So let's take it off. Now it's going out because it's too fast, but it's going down as well. So let's make it slower, and let's take this axial drop so it stays on the same level. Great. Now with 0, 1, it's a very low value and it's still very fast, so we can increase this damping here. Maybe 0.005. I think it's fine like this. But we need those particles to be locked to, not locked, but let's put a lock bond here. Just change it to this size so we don't get confused with this line. And let's add this surface here, bubbles base. Let's change it to lock to surface and restrict to surface. So the particles will stay on the surface, but this operator have like no force to keep it on the same place. So the particles will travel all around the surface freely, but it doesn't get off the surface. So let's see what's happening. Cool. Since it's locked to the surface, we might not have to use this mug collision, so let's hide it. And let's get this force here and the lock bond and drag it to this next event here. Let's put it on top of the event, and it can be any instance. Cool. Now let's get those two. Let's make a copy and let's paste it. In fact, let's bubble to pop. Let's put it here. And let's bring it here as well. This one and this one. instance. So I got only the lock bond. No, I don't want the split amount. Yeah, the lock bond and the... Okay, I just lost my force, so let's put the force here, instance, and the force here, instance. Let's change it to the other side, and here we don't need it. Just the gravity is fine. And let's see how it's going. Great. So we still have to put a force here as well. Yeah, it's looking fine like this. Now we have to make this logo. I don't want it to be affected by this vortex, so it don't get like deformed, but it have to move. So let's create another vortex. I will press Ctrl V and let's make it a copy, not an instance. And let's make it way bigger, and let's change it to counterclockwise. Now, let's see. I want this one to work till 150. The other one is fine with the time off on 100. But this one I want to be to 150. And let's see. Let's place a force in here on the logo bubbles event. And let's add the vortex 02. And let's add a lock bond as well. And this lock bond will be locked here, locked to surface, restricted to surface with maybe 50. But this force will have like a lot of influence in the beginning. Let's switch it off for a while so we can animate this value here. And in 100 frames maybe it will be 0. So here it have full power and here no power. Let's switch it on and see what happens. Yeah, we can maybe a little bit less, so it just don't stay on the place, you know. Yeah, it kind of get this wobbly effect. My logo kind of can get a bit deformed, but if your logo can't, you can put more force here. But for me, with 25 is looking cool. So now those particles here, the pinkish and the bluish one, the lighter ones, it would be very cool if they collide to those particles here. And we can do it using the keep apart operator. So here the bubbles to pop will collide with the logo bubbles. So let's create a keep apart here. And never put operators while your timeline is like there, because it can take too long to calculate everything. So let's make it to turn off acceleration switch on the speed limit and let's make it like very low value, like 3 maybe. And let's change it to relative to particle size, and let's make it like 25 of the particle size in the core and 25 out of the fall off. And let's make it collide only with the logo bubbles, this event here with the logo. And let's get this skip apart and put it on the bubbles to drown as well. The drowning bubbles is fine, and the outer bubbles are not colliding there. So let's see what's going on now. Yeah, much better. Now the bubbles don't kind of get interpolated with the school. Yeah, that's great like this.